iPads replacing iMacs with the Apple Store Kids section. Jetpack Joyride updated. Square on track for $5 billion. And you don't need a study for everything. It's Friday, April 27th, 2012, and this is iWake. I'm Tim Chaten, and this is what's going on in the Apple world today. Good morning. Welcome to another edition of iWake, the Friday edition. First up today is some general Apple news. And to begin that is Apple replacing iMacs with iPads over at the kids' tables found in the Apple stores. The change is the logical one, as most kids know how to use an iPad and have fun with it, and will probably have a much better time than they would on the iMacs. The kid tables have been a part of Apple stores since day one, and since day one, the tables have always included iMacs, so this is a notable change. In other news is Ron Johnson, Apple's former head of retail, now CEO of JCPenney, hiring Ben Fay of Apple Incorporated. As noted by Ron Johnson, Ben is an incredible creative professional with extraordinary leadership skills. Having worked with him over the last 12 years, I'm delighted to see Ben step into this new role at JCPenney. His design influence has made the Apple stores highly regarded retail destinations around the world, and I'm excited to have Ben place his own mark on JCPenney as we reimagine the JCPenney stores of the future. I can only hope that Ben makes his mark on JCPenney and that shopping can be fun not only at Apple stores, but at JCPenney as well. Enough of JCPenney news. Let's just talk about a little bit of Apple news here. A book recently came out entitled Insanely Simple. I wanted to share an interesting story that was in this book. So this is the story. Steve's idea was to do a Willy Wonka with it, just as Wonka did in the movie. Steve wanted to put a golden certificate representing the 1 millionth iMac inside the box of one iMac, and publicize that fact. Whoever opened the lucky iMac box will be refunded the purchase price and will be flown to Cupertino, where he or she, and presumably their family, will be taken on a tour of the Apple campus. Steve had already instructed his internal creative group to design a prototype golden certificate, which he shared with us. But the killer was that Steve wanted to go all out with this. He wanted to meet the lucky winner in full Willy Wonka garb. Yes, complete with the top hat and tails. So there you go. I thought this story was an interesting one and worth sharing. In current Apple news is a word from Dan Weinshunt, Apple's Director of Real Estate Facilities. According to him, we like to provide a level of security so that employees can feel comfortable talking about their business, their research, and whatever project they're engineering without fear of competition sort of overhearing their conversations. That is a real issue today in Cupertino because we've got some other companies here in our same business. So the new campus has an aim to let employees share more and get even more excited and passionate about things they are building. The cafeteria they're building is one example of this. I can only imagine this is a good thing that should lead to even more innovation. The Pixar building was designed by Steve Jobs, and with its help at least, and its design has encouraged some really great work from Pixar. The new Apple campus and building should have that same goal, I'd imagine, and will do great things for Apple themselves, coming up with the innovative new ideas. Last up in Apple news is Siri's co-founder speaking at his hometown in Michigan City, Indiana, of all places. So how does Siri work? Well, according to him, first when you speak, it turns the sounds into words. It says, "This is what you said." That's not what Siri does. We work with a third party to do that, which we all guess is nuance. But what the world didn't have at this point was a machine that can understand what the words meant to do with something about it. So that's what Siri does. Even after all the research and development, it took them 3 years to build it. So 3 years from start to finish to build Siri, and that's what it was, I guess. And then how did they name this thing? According to the co-founder of Siri, what are we going to call this thing? And make people understand what it is. The first tagline I came up with was Siri, practically human. Well, it's not really human yet and kind of sucks at this point. We need something better. So this version we'll call Siri periodically human. Then we said, okay, at a certain point, the next version we call practically human. The version after that will be positively human. Then, unfortunately, the version after that will have to be kill all humans. Kind of like the Terminator evolution there. So Siri was always the name, and there was always a trick of how do you market it correctly. Towards the end of the session, a member of the audience asked what the next version of Siri will be like. If I take 30 steps, I'm over the table. If I take exponential steps, I'm on the move. He jokingly stated that he couldn't answer the question in fear of Apple's attorneys, but was able to say that this is just the beginning. We've got a lot to look forward to. So not a lot revealed here, but some interesting tidbits nonetheless. You can read the full write-up over at imore.com. Moving on to some app news. So let's kick it off with Jetpack Joyride. Just got updated. It's a free update, and the app itself is free. And it's a great update. It makes me want to go back to Jetpack Joyride and start playing it again. According to the release notes, hold on to your jetpacks, kids. This update is huge. After 6 months and over 17 million sales worldwide, Jetpack Joyride continues to receive frequent, high-quality free updates. Today, Halfbrick is pleased to announce the biggest and most anticipated update to Jetpack Joyride ever. This update is a game changer. The scientists have been hard at work inventing 15 crazy new gadgets for you to customize your joyriding experience like never before. Plus, there are 4 new achievements to unlock, along with new stats and new gadget-related missions. The game is now a freebie and is a well-addictive game to play. I'm a huge fan of Jetpack Joyride and have already played with this update. Now onto a quick update to Sketch. That makes it integrate even better with Evernote for the Mac. Sketch, for those that forget, is a sketching app that was acquired by Evernote, I believe, last year. The latest update to the Mac version adds the ability to choose what notebook you want to send images into, and an elephant icon to quickly send images to your default Evernote notebook. The update is out now and available through the Mac App Store. Before moving on to the Twitter update, I simply want to mention that SquareUp.com, the Square creators, they're on track to hit $5 billion in transactions this year. Square is rocking it, and it's a lot of fun watching this company grow this explosively. For more information about Square, visit SquareUp.com. As hinted a minute ago, Twitter for iOS did get updated. So what's new? Well, the update includes an improved search and redesigned Discover interface. A new activity area keeps track of what tweets are retweeted or favorited by those you follow and offers glanceable methods of keeping track of the accounts they're following and adding you to lists. Searching for users is also easier as well, with the service now providing autocomplete suggestions for people you follow whenever you begin typing a first, last name, or username. Finally, and probably most annoyingly, is push notifications have been brought to Twitter interactions. So you can get push notifications if someone retweets your tweet. The update can be found in the iTunes App Store right now. Last up in app news, I just wanted to mention that Draw Something is available for the Kindle Fire. Not much more to say here except for it's available, and Draw Something's a fun game to have. So if you have a Kindle Fire, go download it today. Now, out of app news, let's move on to some iPhone news. To begin, is Sprint selling 1.5 million iPhones to brand new customers. This fact was revealed during their last quarterly earnings call. Sprint trails out of AT&T and Verizon, with Verizon and AT&T around 3.5 to 4 million apiece. But in time, I hope Sprint does gain some traction. The problem right now with Sprint is their data network is incredibly slow, especially on the iPhone, and nearly unusable. The company needs to get LTE out the door, which it hasn't really done yet, and it needs to be ready when the LTE iPhone comes. Moving on to AT&T is a discovery made by Erica Sadoun over at TUAW. The discovery is that AT&T has bumped prepaid data plans. Now for $5, you get 50 megs instead of 5 megs. At $15, you get 200 megabytes instead of 100 megabytes. At $25, you get 1 gigabyte instead of 500 megabytes. If I remember correctly, AT&T prepaid data is actually rollover data, which is a cool thing. The kicker is AT&T is also now forcing monthly plans on the people that want to use data. These plans start at $25 a month and include voice and texting. But before this, you could use data with pay-per-minute plans. So basically, you're going to be paying a lot more if you want to use data now. So, oh well. You almost did a good thing, AT&T, but not really. Closing out the show today are a few odd and end stories. First up is a simple tip. If you want to listen to YouTube in the background on iOS, so the iPad, iPhone, or iPod Touch, you can. I discovered that if you hit play in the multitasking tab, you can actually stream the audio of YouTube videos. This is helpful if you want to listen to iWake through the YouTube app. Anyways, I hope this tip comes in handy for some of you out there. Last up today, I wanted to share with you that not everything needs a study. Here's the study that I'm referring to, and one that I think was dumb to conduct in the first place. In a recent report titled Mobile Data and Applications, research outfit Parks Associates found that a large chunk of stateside consumers aren't willing to pay more than $50 per month on mobile data plans. You think? A very few percentage of users want to pay that much, especially when we are forced to pay $40 minimum for voice. If we go all data and no voice, things may change. But yeah, I don't think a study was needed for this obvious conclusion that consumers don't want to pay $50 or more a month on data. That's kind of a crazy notion for me to think of. So before closing out the show today, I would be remiss not to mention that iWake Again is airing tomorrow. iWake Again is for those that really appreciate the Daily Show and want more and want to give back to what I'm doing. I love you all for listening and watching, but for those that subscribe to iWake Again, you're who the show is really for. The $10 a month subscription gives you a 30-minute audio show every Saturday as a way to wake up to iWake on Saturday. And it provides you a way to pay for the Monday through Friday show that most of you get for free. I should also mention that I just took the plunge on a new hosting provider at 11/2. So accessing iWakePodcast.com and my other websites that I host and the iWake Again RSS feed should be greatly improved. Thanks to the iWake Again subscribers, I was able to do that. So help me out by signing up for iWake Again. If you'd like to join the community, head on over to iWakePodcast.com/again. Once again, to sign up, head on over to iWakePodcast.com/again. Well, that's what's going on in the Apple world today. If you like this show, I hope you do, head on over to iTunes to rate and review the audio version of this show. And head on over to youtube.com/TCHATEN for all of my YouTube videos, including the iWake video version of this show. So with that, I'll talk to most people on Monday, but those subscribers to iWake Again, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a great weekend. Aloha.